Flashpoint History presents the Battle of Poitiers. With the rise of Islam, the Arabic expansion explodes across the world map. The armies of the Caliphate rapidly capture Arabia, the Levant, and Syria. The Persian Empire falls, and the Byzantine are forced back. The stage is now set for the conquest of North Africa, which begins with a stunning victory at Heliopolis. The Byzantine are driven from Egypt, and Alexandria is soon taken. Over the next 60 years, the Arabian armies push west across the Maghreb. They managed to capture ancient Carthage in the year 698. As the westward move continues, the indigenous Berbers are incorporated into the army. These men swell the ranks and allow for Tangiers to be humbled in 708. With the capture of this city, nearly all of North Africa is now part of the Caliphate. Looking north across a small expanse of water, a Muslim army now heavy with Berber troops crosses into Spain in the year 711. These men are expertly led by Tariq ibn Ziyad, a veteran commander who is reinforced to a fighting strength of over 12,000 men. He is immediately detected by the Visigoth king Roderick. Roderick is an impulsive commander, and while he fields a larger force, the loyalty of his men is questionable. At the Battle of Guadalete, he rushes in, but as his forces smash in, he is abandoned by his nobles. Tariq and his veterans crush Roderick's flanks. The Visigoth army is quickly annihilated. With little opposition, Tariq moves on to quickly capture Toledo and then Cordoba. He is joined by his senior commander, Musa ibn Nusayr, who brings in another 18,000 troops. These two men make the conquest of Spain a lightning affair and even begin the conquest of France. With the exception of a few Christian kingdoms in the north, Al-Andalus, or the name that the Arabs have now given to their new territory in Spain, is nearly all but subjugated. Now raids begin across the Pyrenees into France. One in the year 721 meets a disastrous end at the Battle of Toulouse. Another in 725 makes it across France and to the city of Autun. But then, the campaign of 732 begins. A large army is assembled and placed under the command of Abdul Rahman al-Ghafiqi. It has nearly 50,000 troops and fields the feared and deadly heavy cavalry, a force that some say is nearly unstoppable. This army crosses the mountains and takes the city of Bordeaux by storm. It manages to win a decisive victory against Duke Odo of Aquitaine at the river Garonne. The Franks are forced to retreat, and there is little left to stop al-Ghafiqi and his army. Al-Ghafiqi now moves confidently on to take the rich city of Tours. But then suddenly his path is blocked. A last-ditch alliance of Odo of Aquitaine and the rising star, Charles Martel, have assembled their forces to oppose the armies of the Caliphate. They have taken up the high ground and won't budge. Al-Ghafiqi takes up battle position and brings his scattered forces in from across France. Once assembled, he sends his vaunted heavy cavalry into a direct charge. But surprisingly, the Franks hold their ground. However, just as the Arab horsemen are about to break through, Charles sends Odo into a daring raid deep into the enemy rear to attack their camp. When the Arabic forces see this, they break rank and race back against the orders of their commander. Despite his best efforts to hold his men in formation, al-Ghafiqi's line falls apart. Charles Martel seizes this opportunity, going from the defense to the offense, rushing down the hill and smashing into the Arab line. The battle becomes a slaughter. Charles Martel won a decisive victory and immortal glory that day. Abdul Rahman al-Ghafiqi lay dead at his feet, his army smashed. The army of the Caliphate retreated from the field the next day, and eventually out of France altogether. They would never return in force ever again. Charles Martel, to be known to history as the Hammer, would go on to establish the Carolingian dynasty. His grandson Charlemagne would be part of the Christian reconquest and would go on to establish the Holy Roman Empire. To this day, historians debate the significance of this battle. Some say that it was here that Western Christendom was saved and the Islamic conquest finally stopped. Others argue that the Islamic conquest had already run out of steam and that this battle really wasn't that decisive. Either way, France was to remain a Christian state, and the Muslims would remain in Spain for another 700 years. Flashpoint History is a podcast dedicated to bringing history to life. If you enjoyed this video, come check out more on YouTube, or you can download the podcast episodes from iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or all the usual places that you can download podcasts. You can also follow along on Facebook and Twitter. Comments and feedback are always appreciated, and if you want to support the series on Patreon, all that information will be in the description below.